Hey, I'm Glenn Davidson. All right.
Keep going. Just keep
Right,
cut all
okay. Hey, I'm Glenn Davidson. Always do this every time. All right, one more time. Sorry, got my make fun of me later on. Hey, I'm Glenn. I'm trying to think how I would say this. Hey, I'm Glenn Glenzig Davidson, and basically I own Killer Skate Park and Shop. I've had it now for almost 7 years. I do lots of cool things. I give skate camps. I give skate contests. I sponsor local kids. We do lots of cool city events. We go to all sorts of other cities like Henderson, Owensboro, Louisville. We skate all over the place, make skateboard videos, and try and do a lot for the community. This is my skate shop, Killer Skate Park. I've got almost 300 skateboards in there, plenty to pick from. Got one for everybody, doesn't matter what it is. Come through here, I'm gonna have it for you. We'll figure out the board you want. We'll figure out the type of skateboard you need. I've got everything related to skateboarding. I got the apparel, t-shirts, hats, shoes, backpack, sunglasses. I've got longboards for that matter too. If somebody's interested in just cruising around, we have that. So if you're interested in longboarding, come in here, get a cool longboard, all sorts of different variety of that. Come through, get that, cruise around Evansville and the Greenway, great place to go. I have affordable decks as well. If somebody's just starting out in skateboarding, a great place to come because I have shop decks, our own brand. These things here are only $29. Come in, get one of those, put it together. We'll take that, put some wheels and trucks on it. You get a whole skateboard for about $100. Pretty good deal. Get your kids started, get your older guys started, whatever you gotta get back into skating, whatever you gotta do. This is my skate park we're about to walk out into. I built this back in 2009 and have it ever since. Done a lot of improvements over the years, done a lot of changes. I've had all sorts of reasons to change things up. One thing I like about this skate park is that it all kind of flows together. You can go from like one ramp to the other one, but at the same time it's kind of sectioned off. So it's sectioned off a lot of times so that way multiple people can skate it at the same time. But if you're good, you can skate all, which is always a really cool thing. Yeah, you know what? I've changed things up quite a bit in the last 7 years or so. You know, since I started off on a whole different section over here on this side. We previously used to have a little more vertical ramps. We changed up to a little more mellow to make it easier for kids. I've added some pyramids. I've added multiple street sections with the ledges, handrails, different things of that nature to make it a little more enticing for people to come through and skate. And that way there's more things to learn on as well. Plus, I've just gone through and added a little bit higher grade surface to most of the ramps. Something that's called Skate Light. It's actually made for skateboarding. It's made to be very durable, made to be something that can't get scratched up or torn up in any way. The changes I've seen since I've opened Killer Skate Park is that basically I look at the fact that we've had a lot of cool things happen as far as like just kids getting better at skateboarding. You know, I skateboard myself. I've been able to help the kids around this area get better at skating. I've been able to get more kids interested in skating because we have a place that's very supportive of it. You know, we do skate camps, we do sponsorships a lot of times. The kids that get around here and actually ride this place all the time, not only do they be pretty good at skating, but they help other kids out as well. It's one giant growing thing. And it's really cool to see that I've been the one that's actually helped affect that. Currently, I sponsor about 8 people that skateboard. Some of them are kids, some of them are adults. A lot of adults skateboard. A lot of people don't realize that. I myself am 36 years old, and the oldest guy I have sponsored is actually 41. It goes by the name of Dirty App. He's a ripper. He's actually an Evansville legend, which is super sweet that I actually have the ability to put him on my shop team and give him some credit where credit's due. And besides that, the youngest guy I have is 15, and he's a wonder kid. He's super good at skateboarding. And what's cool that I've actually had the effect to give these kids a chance and give these adults a chance to have fun, get a little recognition, and also help affect the skateboard community that's local. 2 of the guys I have sponsored, Nick Side and Christopher Hyatt, are both sponsored by a national company known as Pal Peralta. It's one of the largest companies in the United States for skateboarding, and one of the oldest as well. They get free skateboards every month from Pal and get national recognition. But that's not necessarily the thing that matters in skateboarding. It's not that they're the best guys. I could honestly not even care as much about that as the fact that I care about the fact that they care about skateboarding. They're the ones that care about skateboarding the most in this area. They care about Killer, my skate shop, and they also are the ones that go out and actually really present skating in the best light for Evansville. That's why I've sponsored. It's not so much even that they're the best, it's that they're the best ones to represent skateboarding in this area. A lot of times we take the Killer team on the road. You know, we'll go out and skate different skate parks, or we'll go street skating other places, but we also go to contests sometimes. It's not super often, because there's not a lot of contests around. But when they do have them, we do try to make plans for it. We'll head out and we'll go to places like Louisville or Lexington, maybe all the way to Nashville, Tennessee, or Indianapolis, even over to like Harrisburg, Illinois, and places like that even. You know, there's different contests, different venues. We try to make it out there just to represent Evansville. It's not about winning, it's more about connecting, because that's what skateboarding is about. It's about connectivity. It's about meeting other people from other skateboard scenes. It's about meeting other people who are influential and trying to have a little bit of your influence on them to hopefully inspire other people to get involved with it and just be extremely hyped and just extremely excited about everything that not only you're doing, but that skateboarding is doing. Over the years, we've had 7 pro demos come through, and we've had guys of the likes of like Mike Filelli, who's one of the most influential skateboarders in the entire world. We've had guys who are up-and-comers like Ben Rayborn and Cyril Jackson, and a whole slew of other guys out there. These are all very well-known pro skateboarders, and it's super cool that I've actually got people in Evansville that feel actually see these guys and meet with them and shake their hand and actually realize there's more out there than what they've never even had an idea that even existed. And it's a face-to-face that may not have ever had the possibility happening in this town if I had not opened the skate park. Yeah, it's a little micro ramp up here. I don't know if you need to be the inside of this or the outside.
No, we're cool up here.
Cool up here, you can get a whole visual of the park, which is actually really good.
Yeah.
Honestly, I can just kind of stand here and kind of look over. Skateboarding is actually much safer than people think. It's actually a great thing for kids to get into. One of the main reasons why is it's very healthy for you. You don't see too many skateboarders that are out of shape. Right. The cool thing about skateboarding is it's not as dangerous as people think, because when it comes down to it, you step on a skateboard and you realize right away it's hard. It's not easy, and you find out very quickly that you're only capable of so much when you first start. So it's kind of its own safety net. If you think that you can try harder tricks, then you maybe have to realize what your body is actually capable of even doing. And that's something to progress towards, but it's not something you have right away. Nobody goes out and does a 6-foot-high air on a ramp the first day. You'd be lucky if you could even do a turn on the board on the ground the first day. So because of that, it's actually not nearly as dangerous as people think. It's much safer in that respect, because it's like you're your own nanny that tells you from behind, hey, don't do that, you might get hurt. Because truthfully, in your mind, that's what's happening. I got into skateboarding when I was about 7 years old. I skated because my dad brought home some skateboards from a rental house that my older brothers and I played on. We didn't really realize back then in the 80s that you could even really do too much on a skateboard. We just thought you just kind of turned and went down hills and that's all it was. A friend moved in from Arizona and he had a big fat 80s skateboard. And he just ran and jumped off a planter that we had in my backyard onto our sidewalk, and it blew our minds. We had no idea you could even do that. We had no idea there was such a thing as tricks. And from that very moment, my 2 other brothers and I decided to skateboard for life. We were just hooked. And the more I talk to kids, from whenever I was that age, they say that same story. It's a little different now. A lot of times nowadays you hear kids say that they saw it on a video game, or they saw it on the X Games, or Street League, or TV, or movies, or whatever it may be. And there's a lot of exposure out there for skateboarding, which is a great thing. But I think deep down, most skaters are really excited more than anything just when they see that guy roll off the curb for the first time. Or they see that person go down the street and ollie a pothole. Or maybe it's just going up and just seeing them moving back and forth on a ramp. Even if they're not very good, it's the movement and excitement that they see. And it makes them want to skateboard. All right, I'm actually from Princeton, Indiana originally. And Princeton's a pretty small town, it's about 10,000 people. There wasn't a lot there to skate, there wasn't a lot there to do. So what we did is we just built our own ramps a lot of times. My dad was an engineer, and he looked at a magazine, and he just figured out how to build a launch ramp from that magazine with my older brothers. And then from there, we just started building bigger and bigger ramps. And the cool thing with that is that eventually that led to my skate park, because I had so much experience working on those ramps with him, and then eventually other skate parks, that I was able to build my own park. All right. Skateboarding in Princeton was a little bit more difficult. There wasn't a lot of places to skate. The place you did skate, you got kicked out of. People didn't like you skating there. And, to be honest, the cops kind of end up knowing who you were. And if you have a small enough group of kids, they kind of all know who you are all the time. But at the same time, I don't think they really necessarily hated us by any means, and I don't think anybody should feel that way. It's the fact that they just misunderstood us back then. Skateboarding's come a long way since then. Even in small towns across the country, or even big cities like Evansville, I think most authority types realize now that we're just trying to have fun. we're utilizing a lot of times public space for our own needs. And really, we don't really cause much or any harm to any of that public space. And as long as we're respectful to the people that are around and the property that's around, there's no need for anybody to get upset about it because we're just having our fun.